Let's race the wind tonight. Sky so clear, the stars so bright. 1,000 feet, we feel so free. A wild ride, just you and me. Zooming over city lights, holding on our dreams, take flight. Love so strong up in the air. I feel your heartbeat everywhere with me.
Hey, welcome back to part 2 of the ultimate 10-year anniversary Showdown adventure. For this part of the Showdown adventure, we will be conducting a partial showdown of the lifts we did get to film at the Tysons Corner Center Mall in Tysons, Virginia. Unfortunately, in this part of the Showdown adventure, we did not get to film the lifts at the Hyatt Regency attached to the shopping center or any of the Otis lifts. The Schindler 5500 lift near Macy's was also out of commission. We'll first start by riding the cone monospace lifts in the tallest parking section of the shopping center. This lift is a cone monospace, which travels at a rate of roughly 1.6 meters per second for 8 floors. The speed-to-height ratio is roughly 4:1, and it has a lot of character. From clunking brakes to very loud and concerning but characterful shaft noises, this lift was the best in the entire shopping center. Let's start off this part of the Showdown adventure with a ride in it. The next set of lifts are the main shopping center lifts, which go directly up to the food court on level 3. These are large, Hopsital-sized dry-powered Montgomery hydraulic lifts, which bounce like pogo sticks and are extremely loud. The speed-to-height ratio is roughly 3.5:1. These have the signature Mad Canadian beep. They still have the fluorescent lights from when they were Montgomery. Let's take a ride. The next lift is at AMC Theaters. We had to sneak in past the ticketing booth to get to this lift, and it was very, very risky. Fortunately, nothing happened. This lift is a Schindler 330A HT standard hydraulic lift, which travels from level 1 to 2 in the AMC Theater. It has a bog standard ride character, and there's nothing to write home about. Let's take a ride in it. The next lift is at H&M. This lift was also a bog standard Schindler HT330A. The difference is this lift, typical with most H&M stores, was hospital-sized. It ran exactly the same as the lift at the AMC theaters. It, unlike AMC theaters, had vandal-resistant buttons. The next lift is a ThyssenKrupp Endura lift at the Gap store. It had a bog standard appearance, configuration, and ride character. The speed-to-height ratio was typical for this application. All in all, not very impressive. The next lift is at Macy's. It has a less than 2.5 to 1 speed-to-height ratio Montgomery dry-powered hydraulic lift. Rumor has it breaks down very often. Fortunately, we did not get stuck. It is very grotty and the ride character is otherwise bog standard. Atypical to what we expected out of a Montgomery from this era. The next lift is a glass lift across from Nordstrom. This lift was installed by MEI and is fully glass, including the doors. It has a rear door, which adds a bit of mystery to the configuration. It has a typical speed-to-height ratio for this application. Let's take a ride in it. The next set of lifts are in Nordstrom. These are Montgomery traction lifts which were installed in the 1990s, but run like they were installed in the 1960s instead. These have longer than usual leveling times and are fairly clunky. These are also slower than your stereotypical Nordstrom lift, only traveling at a speed-to-height ratio on par with a higher-powered hydraulic lift. They travel at a rate of roughly 0.8 meters per second and have a speed-to-height ratio of exactly 5 to 1. The doors are clunky and these are quite interesting to ride. We personally had a lot of fun on these. After this, we walked over to the American Girl doll store to film their Schindler Vandal-resistant 330A HT hydraulic lift. This lift was interesting because the front door opened on the upper level while the rear door opened on the lower level. Aside from it, just like the other two Schindler 330A lifts we rode in this shopping center, the ride character was also bog standard and the speed-to-height ratio was typical. Let's take a ride in this lift. After we finished at American Girl doll, we decided to sneak around to the back of the shopping center through a hidden corridor to take a ride in a set of two very old Montgomery hydraulic lifts from the 1960s. which have been modernized a while ago with a very rare variant of monitor TR fixtures, which we mistaked upon first glance for Dewurst. These lifts were nothing short of absolutely incredible, from the configuration, to the location in the shopping center away from public view, to the appearance, to the run character. Despite them being hydraulic, they felt like roller coasters and were only a tad bit slower than the set of Montgomery lifts at Nordstrom, going 0.6 meters per second. Let's take a ride in these lifts. We then snuck into Bloomingdale's. One thing we noticed right off the bat was that this store had two individual lifts, serving different floors. The first lift was an old Montgomery that was modernized into a Montgomery A series in the 1980s. It only went between the lower level and level 1 of the store, before the expansions to the upper levels. This one had a bit of run character and your typical hospital piezo chime. Let's ride it. We then transferred to the main lift, which was a Montgomery A series that got modernized by General. This lift serves the upper section of Bloomingdale's, having a speed-to-height ratio of around half of the original lift, despite traveling around the same speed. Like the previous lift, this lift also had a lot of ride character. Last but not least, we snuck into Victoria's Secret to ride a very small ThyssenKrupp Endura Signa 4 hydraulic lift, which was wedged between two stores, Pink on the upper level and Victoria's Secret on the lower level. This lift was full of ride character, and the configuration was quite amazing. Let's take a ride in it.